Anyway, life's good.
Tight, dude. Starting
Fuck
off with the
yeah.
positive energy, baby. Love it. Love
You know
it.
me. Let me check my one more time.
See if he sent the trade.
No, you know he fucking didn't.
And welcome back
Welcome
to
back.
Rough Draft
Woo!
Research. We back in the house. We doing our division thing
Oh yeah.
as we do. So before we jump into the AFC East, shall we jump back to the NFC East?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what it is. Doing our divisional breakdown, but we like to start it off with a callback to last week's episode. So let's give ourselves the opportunity to pick the top positional player from each position for that division. And gotta tell you, it's a pretty deep pool to pick from here with the Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Washington football team. Still calling them that. All good. So without any further ado, I think this is the biggest debate for me. Let's do the quarterbacks. We throw out a couple of easy ones and go straight to Dak versus Jalen Hurts. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling Jalen on this, but I just don't think these guys are even as far as what I think they're going to get into this year as far as production.
I think I'd probably go Dak.
Okay.
Just because he's proven to be the better passer to me, and if he gets the rushing back up to where it was before the injury, I think he doesn't have as much of upside as Hurts because of Hurts' rushing. But there's a scenario where Hurts isn't good enough as a passer to make it still. Like less than Dak is. Because Dak's already been that guy. Whereas
He's got
Hurts
the
is
passing
like,
floor.
yeah. And so, but I agree with you. I think they're fairly even. I just think there's more risk to Hurts than there is to Dak.
Yeah, I could go either way, man. I'm easily convinced on this one.
Yeah, same. You got the rushing upside in Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
You have the wide receiver upgrades in Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
He does have better weapons at this point, which is not something I would have said.
Yeah, a questionable
last year,
running
obviously.
game.
This division, dude.
So it's, man, I don't know.
It's like one of them's going to be the QB7 and the other is going to be the QB8. But
It feels like
which?
I feel like redraft. I go Dak. I feel like Dynasty. I want Jalen.
That's fair.
Let's
Dak's
do
not
Jalen.
going anywhere, though.
That's true.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
have Gardner Minshew sharpening an axe behind him.
I think if it was me, I'd probably do Dak before I would take Jalen Hurts.
I think
And
I
if
would
that's
too, actually.
the whole point of this exercise that we're doing, but if you want to talk who has more upside, it's Hurts.
Sweet-o, man. I'm with you. In our startup, it's Superflex startup, I took Dak over Hurts, so that's unanimous.
Dak it
All
is.
right.
Sweet-o.
Dak it is.
Sweet-o. Why am I going with this? All right, let's get to the running back room. So obviously you got a couple of iffy guys in Miles Sanders and Antonio Gibson, and then you got old man Zeke versus the old hottest man alive, Saquon Barkley, because that guy was on fire his rookie year. So
Yeah.
I go Barkley there. We are a Dynasty podcast, and I do think Zeke has like his floor is like top 15 to me. So like from that angle, that's tight, but you're only going to get him for 2 more years. And as much as Barkley is a wild card with the injury and everything, at least you have the age and then the like, oh my God, this guy used to be the craziest thing ever. So you could hope that comes back. So
yeah, and considerable upgrade on the O line. I'm going with the RB3 Saquon Barkley.
Yep, I'm with you. I think that's a unanimous one as well.
Okay, cool. Well, let's get into the wide receivers now. This is going to be kind of funky. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb is in play here. Terry McLaurin's in play. Fresh meat, A.J. Brown is in play. I don't know if you want to put a Heisman Trophy winner in there or not. And then who's the best Giants receiver? Is it Kenny Galladay? It doesn't matter. The Giants, you're out. My heart is obviously a Terry McLaurin case, but this one we're not going to get right no matter what we say. CeeDee Lamb he's just not done it, but he's in the perfect situation. I feel crazy saying anything but him, considering he's
agree.
in the pass, an established passing game versus these other teams.
He has the best quarterback, the most consistently good passing attack that we've seen work. He's the best receiver on his team by a fucking mile. Whereas A.J. Brown is the best receiver on his team, but Devonta Smith, just like you said, is a Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to be taking a lot more attention than any of the number twos in Dallas to me. And then, the Giants or whatever. And Terry McLaurin would be in there, but let's see how Carson Wentz does. Terry's obviously going to produce in spite of however Carson Wentz does. But, give me the guy with the quarterback that I trust who's the number one on his team and who's really young.
I'm with you, man, all the way. Okay, well, now we get into the...
You're not going to let me do my Kadarius Toney argument?
Hit it.
Rapper, former quarterback. Boom.
Yeah, in-game MMA fighter. Yeah, very good.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to shorten this one to Dallas Goedert or Dalton Schultz,
Dallas Goedert.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I know you got an argument for Dalton.
Yeah, but I've already made it a million times. I can't go all in on Dalton.
I was about to say,
drafts.
I agree with your logic of Dalton Schultz being good, and he was the tight end 4 last year. So I'm not saying that it's not possible, but Dallas Goedert's done it for 4 years now, where he's been super sick.
Yeah.
And
competing
so
with Zach Ertz,
Yeah, so give me that guy. But I'm with you on Dalton Schultz being way more impressive and way overlooked for who he is. But I'm going Goddard before I go Schultz for sure.
Yeah, you think if he was that impressive, he would have got a contract too.
Wow, I'm pretty sure they offered him one.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I'm an idiot.
Oh, it's all good. He didn't take it.
Ah.
So. No, I think long term Dallas Goedert. I mean, dynasty wise, duh. But I think it's be a big year for Schultz. So
yeah,
right.
I'm with you there.
Well, as much fun as that was, let's get into even more exciting division. You know what I mean? We're going to the East, from the East to the East, from the NFC to the AFC.
From the East to the East.
We're already here in the East.
Hey, at least they're all on the East side,
This is
That's
far east, as opposed to whatever the Cowboys are. Central, South Central.
All right, well, let's get it started with the New York Jets. So we got Robert Saleh, the head coach over there. Second year, former defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. So we're talking Zach Wilson. They drafted in 2021. I checked into the quarterback coach, Rob Calabrese, former UCF quarterback, former offensive coordinator at Wagner University. He only has 4 years of coaching experience. 2019, a quality control coach for Denver, working with Joe Flacco. Funny enough, helped him do the highest completion percentage of his career, I guess. But 2021, hired as the Jets QB coach alongside, obviously, Robert Saleh, who I just mentioned. And then drafting of Zach Wilson, also the acquisition of Joe Flacco. So I guess, the quarterback coach was in somebody's ear over there. Leads us to Michael Fleur, who is the current offensive coordinator. Followed Robert Saleh from San Francisco. Okay, we kind of have ourselves a feather from the bird of Kyle Shanahan, a clone of sorts. He started his NFL career, his debut with the 2014 with the Cleveland Browns, offensive intern under offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan. 2015-16, Atlanta offensive assistant under Kyle Shanahan, who got hired over there. You know, they went to the Super Bowl as a QB coach. Matt LaFleur did, or Mike LaFleur. Matt LaFleur was the QB coach. Fuck, I got it.
Nailed
the
it.
brother. Okay, that's the current Green Bay coach. I don't know if you knew that, Christian.
Oh, is he?
2017
that's
and
interesting.
18,
Currently?
San Francisco passing game coordinator, receiving coach. 2019 to 2020, San Francisco passing game coordinator. Proper 2021 follows Robert Saleh from the San Francisco 49ers, leaving Kyle Shanahan, going his own way.
You can go your
Own
own
way.
way.
I literally have that written down right here with a music symbol. I love that. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge what this offense will be. I think we just need to dive into some of the acquisitions. I think everyone wanted Elijah Moore to be that Devo player that we all saw, but it's hard to gauge what type of offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur is with the Zach Wilson question marks, and they just continue to be question marks. So let's kick it over to Christian. Let's talk about how that offensive line look.
Well, following in the theme of question marks, that's kind of where it is right now. I've been tracking this all off season. It's been one of the bigger stories in my little mind, maybe not for everybody, but Mekhi Becton, phenomenally good rookie season as a left tackle, was set to be their 10-year starter, like a Joe Thomas in Cleveland type situation. And now he just keeps hitting injury after injury and just bad news after bad news. And then heartbreakingly, he fractured his kneecap and he's done for the year already. That's huge. I mean, it changes everything they do along the line. If he's there, they have a solid player there, then they can build the line around. Now, George Fant last year did replace Becton and did fairly well. And so that's probably the route they're going to go again, since Fant already kind of played that he can play left tackle. But it would have been better if you have Becton on the left and Fant on the right, because that gives your guys like Elijah Vera Tucker more chance to succeed and kind of improve on his rookie season that he had last year, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't that great either. But the better your line is around these guys, the more help you can give them to succeed. Now, losing a guy like Becton immediately decreases your flexibility on the line. So that's going to be huge. And like you're talking about with Zach Wilson, he already got hurt this year in the preseason. He's been up and down. So the last thing we need is this offensive line ruining a good Jet season, which may happen depending on how they can recover from the Becton loss. It's not a bad line without him, though. Just worrisome.
Yep, there's a lot to worry about in New York, you know. I know how excited. I feel like we were excited last year, right?
Yeah, I'm still excited. The Jets, I'm into them still,
Okay.
but
He's into him. I did a little bit of research. You know, I do it on a weekly basis, and man, Zach Wilson did not have a good rookie year. You know,
no, he did not.
PFF tore him up with their grade, 36th ranked on the quarterbacks, and
Yeah.
oof, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. It just wasn't like a great outing, and I'm excited, but now he's injured, starting the year, possibly not playing. I don't know. I'm cooling off pretty hard. I don't know what to think about Zach Wilson. Obviously, the dude is a pretty outrageous character, but fantasy-wise, he had some really, really bad games last year. He started the season off with a couple of 2-point fantasy games, and then he ended up pulling it together, hitting double digits, to finish it off. Had a couple of high water marks up in the 20s, kind of QB1 weeks, but damn, I'll give him another week.
I'll give him the year. I mean, I think this is his chance to prove he belongs in the NFL, and that's scary given the injury that he's already incurred. This is kind of the worst time that he could take an injury right now. But to me, it's because of the weapons. I mean, they brought in guys on the offensive line to make it better, and the Becton loss is huge, but it's still better than it was last year. Um, and then they surrounded him with better weapons. They're not to kind of spoil it later, but since we're just talking about it, their
Absolutely.
starting tight end last year had 42 targets. CJ Uzama, the guy they brought in, had more catches than that. Like it's these things like that's important to me for a rookie QB to have like a tight end over the middle as like a safety net. And I'm not saying Zach Wilson is going to be great, but I do think he has better weapons. And if the protection's better, I'm intrigued on seeing him, especially with I wanted to point out PFF, yeah, his passing grade was terrible, but he had an 89.6 rushing grade
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
PFF. So like if he can kind of work that in and find a comfortable rhythm using his little bit of rushing he can do and then using these new weapons, I'm intrigued. I don't yeah, I mean I'm cooling off on his potential maybe, but like I still think the Jets, I'm excited to see what they can do.
I think the potential is still high. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, he had the 4 rushing touchdowns. He did really well rushing the ball. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that like actualizing the potential is being
Yeah.
delayed. It's delayed.
Yeah.
It's
For
not
sure.
now. And
Mm-hmm.
you like to think maybe the rushing he was doing was because there was kind of a weird hodgepodge in the backfield, and
Mm-hmm.
Michael Carter was there, and the weapons weren't healthy the whole year, and they
Mm-hmm.
weren't consistently awesome. But now you have Brees Hall in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
highest drafted rookie running back. We all know the story. Iowa State, just a machine, a big man that can move. Um, I'm pumped about him. Obviously, we don't have any history on him in the NFL, but
Mm-hmm.
you'd think he comes out day one and starts kicking ass. But now we're hearing it's a little iffy at a camp. So,
Yeah, that was the thing is like I was prepared to come into this week, AFC East week, and talk about how Brees Hall is going to be the starting running back in a short time, and it's going to be crazy. But yeah, Michael Carter emerging as the starter is not something I expected to see popping up. I'm not sure how long Carter can hold that off, but I do think if you have Carter, say you already did a startup or you're about to do one, like getting Carter late, he could help you at the beginning of the year if he really is the starter. If they're going to wait to put Brees in, he could sneak you a couple wins at the beginning of the year and then still be a solid contributor whenever Brees Hall does take over. But yeah, little interesting, but I still think long term Brees is the guy there. He has to be.
yeah, yeah. As a guy who traded the farm and borrowed my neighbor's farm to get Brees, I'm not sweating it. Michael
Yeah.
Carter's awesome, but he's a little snack compared to Brees Hall, and Brees Hall's gonna ball out. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
hell yeah. So yeah, like you're saying, Michael Carter's definitely a guy to be semi interested in. He was a 29th ranked running back last year, which is not bad for a rookie in the system
Mm-mm.
that they had. Um, but yeah, really, you've already mentioned the weapons. Kind of just getting into the wide receiver room. Garrett Wilson is drafted. That was a
Mm-hmm.
huge. That's a huge pick for them. 10th overall in the draft. That's a huge investment. Then you got Elijah Moore, who was pretty kick ass last year.
Mm-hmm.
I took some notes, some Elijah Moore notes. Coming out of the bye week, he was averaging 17.65 points per week for 7 games until he was out for the rest of the season. So
Mm-hmm.
that's some solid numbers. 17.6. That's your fringe RB one or wide receiver one numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty amazing. And then obviously you have Corey Davis, right? Corey Davis
Yeah.
is a guy that I've been hot and cold on. I talked a little bit about how it takes him 2 years with the quarterback or in a system before he takes off and is kick ass. And that was just a fun thing I was doing. But week one last year, he actually started the year as the wide receiver five. In the
Mm.
week one, he blew up with like a 26.5 point game, but he couldn't stay healthy. But you look at this wide receiver room, And you got some kind of slight guys, some smaller framed wide receivers, and then you've got Corey Davis, 6'3", 209. I think that he still can make a name for himself in the red zone, and I'm still keeping an eye on for him. The light on, keeping an eye on him.
Like the Motel 6?
Yeah, you know what it is. I'm more of a Days Inn guy or America's Extended Stay. But anyway, Corey Davis, I think, still has a chance.
Oh, I'm 100% with you. I have it right here that I think he's getting slept on just a bit because of all the new exciting toys in New York. But I'm with you. In our FFPC league, the one me and Danny do together, I convinced him to pick up Corey Davis off the waiver or draft him, I think, in the later rounds of our newest rookie draft. For that exact reason, I think he's going to be the guy in the red zone. He's the run blocker that Moore and Garrett Wilson can't really be with their size. So I think he's going to have more chances in the red zone than them, at least for this season.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning that Braxton Barrios is back. It was like a $7 million deal, guaranteed money, and he was the slot man. And Jameson Crowder is out of town, so the slot role is pretty healthy there. I don't really know. Like, I would put Elijah Moore in the slot personally.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
So I'm hoping for that, but like the way it's all happening and the way this team is just confusing as hell. Like, I don't know, is Ty Johnson still the guy to have in that backfield? Who knows? I just don't trust the Jets anymore. But one thing you can trust is the tight end 16 from last year being in town. They need a tight end in this room. They need a tight end. And Tyler Conklin is now the starting number 1 tight end for the Jets, despite having CJ Uzomah in the house.
Tried to tell you.
AJ tried to tell us a million years ago. Fun fact, I'm still not listening.
What was it that you said to me? He's like, I need you to stop talking to me about those tween tight ends.
that is exactly. So get out of the tween tight end game, homie. But yeah, anyway, we're looking at a team here that was their leading receiver had 74 targets last year, and it was just kind of scattered, and that's not what we're ever really looking for. So it has to be a little more solidified. I think the Denzel Mims work kind of falls off and gets reevaluated and concentrated into some of this fresh meat. And, by God, these fucking guys are going to figure something out, man. I can feel it. The attempts were there. They're 13th in the league in pass attempts. So they just got to get the efficiency up and health, Zach Wilson missed time. Elijah Moore missed time. Corey Davis missed time. Michael Carter's going to crumble after week 1 because Breece Hall's going to be over there sweating them, dropping elbows in the locker room. And that's going to be it. So let's talk about the defense, huh?
Yeah, you can tell where Robert Saleh came from. He's building that defensive line into being a deep one with full of rotational pieces. Rookie Jermaine Johnson isn't even projected as a starter, so that tells you exactly how deep that line is because Jermaine Johnson is one of those dudes that everyone's excited about. Quinnen Williams can make a huge jump this year. Carl Lawson needs to come back from injury, but if he does, that pass rush could be something special. And then the secondary, they spent all offseason addressing it. They bring in Sauce Gardner. Everybody loves that. DJ Reed and Jordan Whitehead through free agency. This is not a perfect defense by any means, just like the Jets aren't a perfect team, obviously. But I can definitely see what Robert Saleh is looking at in his little crystal ball that he has on his desk, projecting into the future. You can tell what he's trying to do. Build this line, build this secondary, and go from there. And I think he's got the pieces. He just needs a few more.
Fuck yeah, man. Sauce Gardner, what's not to be excited about? Fucking Jeremy Ruckett, dude. I thought that was the one.
Ruckert.
Oh yeah.
Ruckert, sorry. Well, cool, man. You wanna swim down to Miami on this one?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's
down
get your dorsal
to Miami.
fins out.
Yeah. where we have a new head coach in the building. We got Mike McDaniels.
Yeah.
So we're just going to start at the beginning at 2005 when he was hired at the age of 22 to the Denver
Let's say,
Broncos
how old was he in
by
2005?
head coach.
8?
Oh, yeah.
He
Head
does
coach
look like a youngster, doesn't he?
Mike Shanahan.
Another
Ooh,
feather off of the leaf of.
Yeah, do you like it?
tell-
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This
Really
is a goose
supporting.
down.
Really supporting my coach's corner over here. Thank you, Daniel. 2006, hired by Gary Kubiak as an offensive assistant. Had a 3-year stint there where he assisted 3 different offensive coordinators who did turn into head coaches. Troy Calhoun, Mike Sherman, Kyle Shanahan.
Hey.
Oh, I think we can see where this is going. 2009, he was a running back coach for a UFL team, the California Redwoods, working under head coach Dennis Green. I did not know he made his way to the UFL, but he did. The late Dennis Green, I should say. R.I.P. Thank you for that 1998 season. Appreciate it. 2011, hired by the Washington Redskins. I can say that because that was the name of the team in 2011. He was hired as an offensive assistant under head coach Mike Shanahan, working along 3 more future head coaches, Matt LaFleur, Green Bay head coach, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan. 2013, he was promoted to wide receiver coach and then relieved after the arrival of new head coach Jay Gruden. 2014, wide receiver coach for the Browns. That's where Mike LaFleur started his career with offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan. 2017, he followed Kyle Shanahan to San Francisco 49ers, serving 3 years as the running back coordinator or the running game coordinator. We're talking 2017, Carlos Hyde and Matt Breida sharing most of the backfield. 2018, Matt Breida and Alfred Morris. That was a pretty rough season. They both about split carries, barely over 100 attempts apiece. 2019, Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, and Matt Breida. Interestingly enough, all of them had about 130 attempts a game, but between Tevin Coleman or fuck, shut up. But for the year, but Tevin Coleman had 6 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert had 8 touchdowns, both on 137 attempts, so not bad. Then we had the 2020 season. Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson, 126 attempts. Raheem Mostert, 104. But Jeff Wilson with the 7 touchdowns. Mostert with the 2. So the dude loves committee, but he also loves running the ball in the red zone, it seems. In 2021, he is promoted to the offensive coordinator position in San Francisco, where we see a shift in creativity with the offense. We see Elijah Mitchell do his thing, 207 attempts, 963 yards, 5 touchdowns. Then we saw the great Deebo Samuels, 59 attempts, 365 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, as well as the 6 recepting touchdowns that he had, 121 targets, 1,400 yards. I did not realize it was that much. That is crazy. Then we had George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, both getting over 800 yards, combining for 11 touchdowns. So now we see this guy go to Miami to become the head coach, get a few acquisitions, and kind of some similar guys and similar types on this team. So let's get into it. Let's talk O-line.
Yeah, one of the bigger moves they made that doesn't get talked about enough is adding Teron Armstead, top 5 left tackle in the league when he's healthy. But that's the thing, though, is that Miami's line was really bad last year. They were ranked 32nd in the league, according to PFF. They allowed 235 pressures, which was more than anyone else in the league. And this is a team that we all know didn't push the ball downfield that often. So, like, these guys are getting through that offensive line to get pressure fairly quickly. But that's the thing about a player as good as Armstead. He can solidify and stabilize the left side of that line. If he's playing healthy, he can do that. You slide Liam Eckenberg. I can never say that one. But he was their starting left tackle last year. You slide him back over to right tackle. That helps him out a little bit. And if Teron Armstead is the guy that he was in New Orleans, then you can help the rest of this line out and just know he's out there on an island by himself. So this line could be way more improved just by adding that one strong piece. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this line, but if something happens to Armstead, they're just right back down to being like one of the worst lines in the league.
That's great. That's what you want. That's what you want to hear, man.
Oh yeah.
How pumped am I to hear that? One of the worst lines in the league. But it's Tua's fault, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's Tua's fault. He
Yeah,
sucks.
he's so bad at football. It's ridiculous, man. What has he ever done that was good? Nothing. I checked the numbers. Nothing. I was looking for something good on Tua. Never came up. No, man. They can't run the ball, right? We've established this. They're just kind of a sad situation in the backfield for years and years now. Not really getting it done, not taking the heat off of Tua. And so, what do we expect? What do we expect? I expect them to figure it out. Third worst rushing yards in the league last year. But Tua comes in, and he's doing pretty decent. He had 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He had some pop games against lighter defenses, Jacksonville, Atlanta, kind of going off and looking pretty sharp when he's healthy on the field. He didn't really have a lot of bust games. So I don't know why he gets such a bad rap. You're playing behind the worst O-line. Apparently the organization is like encouraging failure. And then
It's fair.
the biggest failure is the run game. So I think Tua's got a great chance. He's got, a shiny new toy coming in. So I'm just going to move on. I think Tua is being underrated. I think that he'll have a bounce back year, and I think he's going to silence some of the haters. But it's fun to hate, nothing brings people together like a common enemy. So
That's fair.
I think Tua's time might be over in that spot, though. So let's go on to the running back room, which is very new as well. Ironically, Myles Gaskin's still on this team. And he was the 24th ranked running back last year. But if you pull up like a depth chart or anything, it goes Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sony Michel. And what the hell is that? I understand
Go ahead.
they weren't successful, but has any of those other guys been that successful ever doing anything?
No, and that's why, there's a lot of opportunities here. But as AJ pointed out in the coach's corner, anyone expecting any of these guys to be like an outright stud is missing where Mike McDaniel is coming from.
Right.
He's in that Shanahan offense. This is going to be a running back by committee. Chase Edmonds is probably the starter. He's making $6.1 million compared to Raheem Mostert's around $1 million. So Edmonds is the guy, just like all the other guys that have been the guy in San Francisco. But Edmonds has his career rushing high is 592 yards. It's an awful lot of hype for a guy that is gonna do a running back by committee and has Myles Gaskin, Sony Michel, Raheem Mostert, and Chase Edmonds on the same roster. They're gonna cut it down to 3, presumably. So even all 3 of those guys, though, they're all starting level guys, or at least RB2 type guys. So they're all going to get their work. So counting on any of these guys to win your league seems like a stretch to me.
Yep, that's a nice way to put it. So these guys, Sony Michel was a running back 32 last year. He topped out in 2019 as a running back 20. Chase Edmonds was the running back 34 last year. Topped out at running back 25 in 2020. So pay him a lot of money, Maybe he can do something he's never done before. Be a fantasy relevant running back. But I don't really think so.
I don't think so either. I think he'll have weeks. I wouldn't mind having him on my roster as a depth piece just to see. But I'm not counting on him to be sick.
Yeah.
What it's worth, though, after looking up his yards per attempt, his yards per attempt is very, very good. It's always like over 4, like 4.5 or higher. So that's impressive. That's not what I was expecting to see out of him. And he does get catches. So Edmonds is the guy on that roster that I'd want the most, but I'm not expecting him to be crazy, crazy.
I wouldn't either. He's got 9 rushing touchdowns in 4 years,
Yeah.
57 games. Even if you count the 5 receiving touchdowns he has, that puts him at a ratio of 1 touchdown every 4 games. So
Yeah. So that's not good.
even when he is not, I mean, the competition wasn't extreme. He had a lot of opportunities in Arizona,
Yeah.
and he didn't make it happen. And then you got Sony Michel, who tied for third most red zone carries with Dalvin Cook, with 45 last year, but he only managed to come up with 4 scores. So, just because he's getting the opportunity doesn't necessarily mean he was making it happen. Guys who outscored him on the ground include Devonta Freeman, Latavius Murray, and Sam Darnold. So
Nice.
it could be better. When you're the third most red zone carries, you expect to be doing better than a tandem of Baltimore, guys on their last run. So that's cool. That's cool. Well, let's get on into what I think we're all here to talk about, and that's Tyreek Hill, right?
Oh yeah.
mean,
Ooh.
Yeah, I just don't know what all there is to say.
Yeah. There's not a ton to say. I mean, I like to say a couple of things about Tyreek that I think people don't think about. Like the fact that he was a wide receiver 8 in 2017 with Alex Smith under center. You got to remember that obviously the Chiefs system and Andy Reid and all that and Patrick Mahomes, that's what I'm calling him this year. But that was all well and good, and it made him the number 1 wide receiver in 2018. Obviously, that's a 50 touchdown year for that team, so it's a little different. But he's coming off of a year where he finished as 6th, the 6th wide receiver, and he also had 159 targets. So I don't know. He's not gonna top that number. Doesn't feel like it.
Not with Jalen Waddle on the team.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. But you don't really think about it. I wouldn't have guessed it that Miami only trailed KC by 60 pass attempts last year. So there is a lot of volume going around. It's kind of scattered, and it's not really. I don't think it's very predictable to trace where it's going to end up going. You saw Mike Gesicki had triple-digit targets, and as you mentioned, Jalen Waddle had 138, ended up catching about 100 of them. And I got to say, I think Waddle dips, but I think he's still on the right side of 100, probably 110 level. And he had a 75% catch rate, so he's a pretty reliable wide receiver. And I think now that he won't be getting the alpha coverage, he could probably even increase his efficiency. But one thing, obviously, we know he was explosive in Alabama, doing yards after the catch, just getting separation. He came out of his rookie year and was only getting 4.2 yards after the catch. I think that goes up in a big way. He was doing 10 yards per catch last year, and that has to go up as well. So I think he's sneaky productive. I was kind of overlooking him for a little bit, thinking Tyreek was going to be the big dog, but I'm pretty sure they can both make a name for themselves. So I don't think it leaves much meat on the bone for Cedric Wilson, personally.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think I like Cedric Wilson in that offense, but yeah, I fantasy wise, yeah, he may not be um, consistent enough to be worth a spot. But I do like the way he fits in there. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I really like Waddle. I kind of am kicking myself for not taking him in that startup that we just did. So I'm with you. I still think he gets 100 targets and he produces enough to be worth it for sure.
Yeah, being the wide receiver 13 your rookie year is pretty solid production. So
Yeah.
even with all the things we've said and Tua being hurt and
Hmm.
whatever else, he was the only show in town except for one other guy we'll talk about later. But Mike Gesicki came out as the tight end 9 last year. He topped out as the 7 in 2020. And I know a couple weeks back you brought up a lot about how when you're playing on a field with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, it really leaves you some soft underneath stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that he has the potential to really get in there and be a little more consistent. You know, he had 6 games double digit last year, so he was like a kind of a boomer bust play. And he's going to have to share some targets with Chase Edmonds as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he has an opportunity to get more catches. I don't know if that makes sense. Like he might, it's going to be like easy, you know, right in the breadbasket type stuff instead of having to be out in the slot, really fighting for like quasi wide receiver hybrid work like he has been. But
Yeah, for sure. For my little theory there, though, the reports out of camp are pretty troubling on Gesicki, and it does make sense. With Mike McDaniel coming from an offense that had George Kittle on it, I don't think he really has patience for tight ends that can't block, which Gesicki is definitely 100% a receiving tight end. He's not a very strong blocker, and apparently it's got him in the doghouse a little bit. Gesicki even has been playing longer into the preseason games than all the other starters, and he came out and said that it's good for him. He needs all the reps he can, and I think he's implying that he needs to be blocking, and so that has me a little worried because if you can't block in a Shanahan offensive scheme, chances of you being out there very often are a lot slimmer. But I stand by it. I think there's options in that offense. Now I'm just worried that maybe Gesicki's too far in the doghouse to get consistent playing time now.
oof. Well, it's
Which is scary.
I can't remember. Hunter Long was probably a great pass blocker, right? It's probably a great run blocker.
He was solid,
Fit
if
undersized,
I remember correctly. Yeah.
6'5",
They brought in
250.
somebody else though that
Durham
Schmythe.
Smythe.
Yeah, that's who it
Stymie, Smith.
I'm not. I just want those reports to be acknowledged, you know, because that is a bit worrying. But I think Gesicki has a chance to excel in this offense because there's a lot of attention having to go elsewhere.
Well, I refuse to acknowledge your reports, but I thank you for presenting the information. Should we talk about some defensive stuff?
Yeah. This defense is led by a strong secondary. Xavier Howard and Byron Jones are 2 really good corner pairings. Javon Holland was a really, really underrated rookie last year, I thought. So now you got a playmaker back there at safety. This pass rushing group has a decent amount of talent on it that can cause some havoc and rotate pretty well. Melvin Ingram is an addition. He's not listed as a starter, so you know he can come in and still come in and still see he'll be effective. We've seen it. We saw it last year with Kansas City. He'll split time with Andrew Van Ginkel and Jalen Phillips, so you know they can rotate people in and out of there. The middle of the defense is a bit weak for my liking. I think they're going to be relying on 3rd round pick Channing Tindall as like a starter pretty soon, which no offense to Channing Tindall, but like that's not really a terrifying linebacker name. Like maybe he can overcome that, but it doesn't kind of have the same ring as like Brian Urlacher or Ray Nitschke. Channing Tindall is just kind of not the same vibe, but who knows? Maybe. I don't know anything about him. He could be a hell of a player, but regardless, you're relying on a 3rd round rookie to start in your defense is not a great look. But the defense in those other areas, the secondary and the pass rush, it's good enough to make up for the weakness in the middle. So I think this defense should be good. They stay consistently pretty good every year, and I don't see that really changing.
Nice. Yeah, that was their top draft pick this year.
Mm-hmm. It was.
But, yeah, it's no Nick Bolton. Bolton.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call him. But
Mizzou.
that's right. Go Tigers. Fuck.
You
I'm
kind of
out.
feel like you are that way.
No, it's purely only in the running back room.
Gotcha.
I don't have my Mizzou Drew Lock jersey out or anything.
Oh, there you go.
Not yet.
You want to lead me into the segue to the Patriots here?
Yeah,
got?
man. Speaking of Eric Azukama, how about what's going on with the Patriots coaching staff, dude?
Wow, that was great, man.
Smooth.
Going to the New England Patriots, this is going to be pretty short and sweet because no one knows what the hell's going on over there. We got Matt Patricia. His title is Senior Football Advisor / Offensive Line Coach / Play Caller? Question mark. There's rumors going out about that.
That's a guy from Detroit?
Oh, you betcha. So Bill did say that he's the supposed play caller, but no matter who calls the Patriots offense, and I quote, I have final say. So Matt Patricia, former defensive coordinator, turned horrible head coaching career in Detroit there, eh? I don't know what much to say. All I can say is I'm Team Ramondre. Watch the tape. I called that shit. Just wait for it. So the real question is, how well is this O-line going to block for my homie, Ramondre Stevenson?
I mean, they seem to be in the top 10 every year, do the Patriots, for offensive line play, regardless of what's going on with their roster. You thought maybe it would drop off with a rookie quarterback last year, and they didn't. They finished the year ranked 9th, so that's pretty good. They're going to be starting 2 new guards after trading away Shaq Mason, which, by the way, can anybody else just Shaq Mason for a 5th-round pick to Tom Brady's team? No one's like collusion.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was that? And that just went by. Anyway, whatever. That's fine. So Shaq Mason's out of there. Cole Strange sets up at left guard, and which is the opposite guard, actually. They're going to replace Shaq Mason, projected with Michael Onwenu, I think is how you said it. I forgot to spell it out. So that's my bad if I got your name wrong, sir. I hope you have a great season.
Dupes.
But fucking dudes. Some people were worried about Cole Strange coming out of the FCS and becoming an instant starter. However, it's worth noting that he's had 35 passing snaps in the preseason and he's only allowed 1 pressure. So it looks like Cole Strange is doing pretty well. I think New England's going to have a decent offensive line, but they did lose one of their best players in Shaq Mason. So,
well, it doesn't matter, man, because they got Mac Mason. No, Mac Jones.
Who?
Mac Jones.
Mac Daddy.
I forget his phone number.
281-330-8004. Mac Jones.
Call him. So yeah, I mean, Mac Jones, he came out and made these other rookie quarterbacks look dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a bad year for rookie quarterbacks unless your name was Mac Jones. In that case, you were the 11th ranked PFF graded passer, and then you had a great O-line, but you did something that a lot of these other guys couldn't figure out how to do. You didn't hold the ball in the pocket. He had the 9th shortest time to throw. Actually, Davis Mills was faster than him. So that's something to look out for, Big Davis. But Mac Jones came out and he kind of kicked ass, man. Like, I don't know exactly what to say because there's a feeling that this offense is super unpredictable and they didn't bring anyone in to elevate the passing game at all. So I do have an amount of concern that they might just keep the ball on the ground like they have the past couple of years and just make that happen. So Mac Jones is serviceable. He's playing very well, but he might not be a fantasy superstar, which makes us all a little sad. He was 18th quarterback in fantasy last year, and that's decent for a rookie. So,
yeah, good depth for a super flex league for sure. I guess what I'm worried about is all the reports coming out this offseason. We talk about him crushing it, and then fucking Bill wants to make a bad coach the offensive play caller now, and now all the training camp reports are that this offense is getting schooled by the defense every week, and Mac Jones, the best looking rookie quarterback last year, now looks lost. Now, it's training camp. Bill Belichick always gets a pass because he's Bill Belichick. So until this actually goes wrong, it means nothing. But I just think it's weird that, like, the one thing that was working on your offense, now you're going to go fuck it up and change the way the offense runs on your rookie quarterback. And you know who does that every year? Bad teams that fire their coach every year. And then the rookie has to learn a new offensive scheme. Why are you making him do it when he already did well? Doesn't make sense
What
to
up,
me.
Minnesota Vikings? What up? How you doing? Right
It
on.
doesn't make sense to me, really, why
Shut up,
they
Mike.
moved it. But again, it's Bill Belichick. He's one of the greatest coaches, if not still the greatest coach of all time. And so he gets a pass, but I just want to pop that red flag up because it seems weird to me that you'd fuck up all the progress that Mac Jones made to switch up the offense. It just seems like not that good of an idea to me, especially when you made the playoffs.
Well, you got to build your team around your starting quarterback, Bailey Zappi. So
I guess that's fair.
much.
Oh, we'll talk about him later.
Okay. Okay. Sounds like there's a sub segment on this team.
Nah.
But I mean, as you mentioned, as we mentioned, as it has been mentioned, the Patriots aren't afraid to run the ball, use a little bit of a committee approach. They've got Damian Harris and his 15 touchdowns from last year, finished at the 14th running back on the season. And then obviously they got everybody's favorite running back sleeper in the world, AJ's best friend and pen pal, Ramondre Stevenson,
Let's go.
in the house. And Ramondre had kind of a poo-poo of a rookie year. Obviously had to overcome some acclimation and trust issues from the coaching staff. But then it all built up into a week 10 game where Damian Harris was out, and he had 200 carries for 100 yards. He had 4 catches and 2 scores. And it was like, okay, here we go. Party on. Let's do this. So what's next? What's week 11? And week 11, he had 12 carries, and it was fine. But he didn't ever really establish himself as number 2 on the team, or like a 1B situation. He was kind of held back still. And so I have my concerns, but then Brandon Bolden's out of town and James White is retired. So you got all those pass catching work going to Ramondre according to reports, but you can't overlook the fact that they drafted Pierre Strong, right, who has a little bit of that ability in him. Apparently Ty Montgomery's on this team. Like, if
Dude,
there
well,
was ever a hybrid pass catching running back.
Well, that's the scary part is James White. I said it about Pierre Strong. James White retiring would be kind of the best scenario. I think Pierre Strong kind of fills in that James White role. But now all the reports about Ty Montgomery impressing at camp, and he also fills that role. And so, yeah, I'm with you. It's very confusing right now. I really like Strong, but let's just objectively look at it. Most teams keep 3 running backs. You've got Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Ty Montgomery, Kevin Harris, J.J. Taylor, and Pierre Strong. There's 6 guys there. 3 of those guys at least are getting cut, presumably. So, like, I don't know, who's it going to be? Somebody's not going to be on this roster. And so, like, Strong is definitely in that category of guys that could get cut. I don't think he will, but with Ty Montgomery coming on, it's clouded my Pierre Strong hype because I thought there was a specific, very clear role for Strong, and that's why I was super into where he landed in New England. And now it's a lot muddier with Ty Montgomery actually performing well.
Yeah, but you got to think, all right, Pierre Strong's a 4th round draft pick. So they got a little bit of love there. But then there's so Tyquan Thornton's got a collarbone injury. He's going to miss about 8 weeks. He's a rookie wide receiver if they took in the 2nd round, which was a weird deal. But he was slated to be kind of a special teams role. We all know from Ty Montgomery's time with Green Bay that he's a special teams expert if you're into fumbling kickoff returns. So
against undefeated Rams teams. Yeah.
just wanted to twist the knife on that. But
Yeah.
so it kind of opens a roster spot for Ty Montgomery as a special teams guy if
Yeah,
they're
that's
willing
fair.
to go that route. So maybe they sneak a fourth guy on that roster.
They could absolutely. If a team's gonna do it, it's gonna be a team like New England or San Francisco. But like, it's just scaring me because when like I first of all, congrats to James White, hell of a career, one of the most fun Super Bowl performances ever. Should have won MVP, regardless.
Running
Um,
backs never win.
uh, it just yeah, when he retired, I got super excited for Pierre Strong, and you just expect, oh, now this guy's going to start popping. You're going to start seeing his name pop up everywhere, and all these articles talking about Pierre Strong are going to come out, and that didn't happen, which is a little worrisome when you kind of see it going that way. So that's my only hesitation is that I thought like, damn, there's this role. Let's see him start popping, and he just hasn't yet. So.
I wonder, there were rumors, and I know I'm just dragging out this Patriots running back conversation, but there were some rumors about Damian Harris possibly being traded. I wonder if the
Mhm.
depth of that room has anything to do with that, like
I think it does.
because we saw
Yeah.
last year they traded Sony Michelle
Hmm.
and it worked out just fine for them. No,
Yeah.
they didn't miss a beat on it. So,
Mm-mm.
okay, well, let's move into the wide receiver room. I'm going to make this pretty brief because it's New England and
Hmm.
they're going to spread the ball around. But I was kind of astonished to find out that they had two top 36 wide receivers last year. And Jacoby Myers at 30 and Kendrick Bourne at 34.
Hmm.
That's wild to me, especially how it was done.
Hmm.
So a lot of touchdowns, or well, 5 touchdowns for Kendrick Bourne, and then on the other side, Jacoby Myers only had 2, but he caught like 83 passes. So
Hmm.
and he just got buried with targets. He had 121 on the team that the number 2 guy was Hunter Henry with 74 targets. So
Hmm.
that's just a massive workload. So you think that's reproducible somewhat because they didn't really add any competition. So pretty happy about Jacoby.
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, Bourne was a guy that I was pretty into for the reasons you said. I didn't realize he was 36, and then there were reports of him maybe doing some Debo Samuel like things. Obviously, every team's got to have a Debo Samuel guy now. But I also thought him and Mac Jones were pretty simpatico. But now all of a sudden, Bill Belichick's screaming at this dude on the sideline and making him sit out of practice, and now he's getting in fights at practice, and now there's trade stuff being spread by the media all of a sudden, and I don't know what the fuck is going on with Kendrick Bourne. But I was excited about him for what it's worth. But now just all these new reports is just muddying things up.
Opening the door for Devonta Parker, man.
True, true.
So obviously he's the only real new addition to this wide receiver room, and he's probably going to get some play.
Yeah,
I'd
at some
say.
point. I think it's interesting, but a lot like the RBs, it's hard to tell who's going to be the guy consistently enough to want anybody but Myers, really.
Yeah, yeah. And I've looked at it and I was like, who does he replace? And it's clear that Nelson Aguilar's the guy that's probably getting
Hmm.
the hey, no thank you. And that's 59 targets last year, so no one's getting pumped about the
Hmm.
potential there. But yeah, then you got Hunter Henry. He was the tight end 10, which is pretty close to his best performance. He was ninth in 2019. And as mentioned, he was number 2 on the team in targets. And Johnny Smith, who was brought in, was pretty much not really a factor. He was the 36th tight end in the league, so that means that he's not rostered.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully you're not still holding on to that. Just pick up Gerald Everett instead. You heard it here first.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that Hunter Henry out targeted Johnny Smith by 30 something targets.
Yeah.
It's still wild to me. I thought wasn't the whole thing that Bill Belichick loved Johnny Smith?
He just wanted to
No,
hang out with them.
I guess he just paid him to be his best friend. I don't know. It almost screams that like they didn't think they were going to be able to get Henry and Johnny Smith, and then it's like when you send out like a date and you send it out to three different girls for a concert, but then they all get back to you, and now you're fucked. Like it
Yeah.
seems like it's like that. Like
You
like
mean
all these tight ends are here now, and you're like, well, fuck, we only needed one of you, really. So
yeah, and that
like,
and that girl that's clearly not the hottest one, you're just like, no, she's like my best friend. Like I love her work ethic. She's great. Like
Oh shit.
she just works really hard, you know?
oh, Bill, just
Don't-
being a player with tight ends. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What does he say? Never mind. He's not a player. He just crushes a lot, my friend. So he's crushing on a couple of
Just
tight
crushing
ends.
it.
Yeah.
Getting all the tight ends.
Oh man, but Hunter Henry had what, like 300 snaps in the slot, so he's playing definitely a different style role than Johnny Smith. So we'll see what happens. I think there's still some possibilities for Smith, but whatever. I'm moving on. I can't just keep talking about the Patriots. I really can't.
Okay. Well, do you want to hit the defense or not?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, all I really got to say is like, are the years of the dominating New England defense over? I don't know. This is definitely the weakest I've seen this roster. Christian Barmore is absolutely as a stud.
Oh
Matthew
yeah.
Judon was up and down, but if you can get more of his ups than downs, um, I'm willing to give him the benefit of bouncing back. But then after that, who are the stars on this defense? I mean, you got McCourty, but he's getting older. Malcolm Butler was gonna be your starting corner in the year of our Lord 2022, which was already a problem, and then he got hurt, which is even more unfortunate for him. But also, like that was already a problem, and now he's gone. So you have an even bigger problem there. Jalen Mills is now their top corner. Who I like Jalen Mills, but I don't know if I want him as my number one guy necessarily. And then you just kind of have a bunch of other B guys on this roster. There's not a lot of superpower here. And I said it earlier about the running back room, and Bill gets a pass because he's Bill. But on paper, this defense could be problematic.
Well, that is a bold statement. On paper. I think, yeah, damn, dude. Especially the way this division's kind of coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They might just get left behind.
There's a chance that this goes sideways on New England. And we're basically all just kind of banking on the fact that Bill Belichick is a genius.
Yeah.
So like if this doesn't work, it's gonna be interesting.
Ugh, how many first round picks are they gonna cut before their contract's up or trade?
Yeah.
Genius level stuff, Bill.
It's a different version of fuck them picks, but it's that you actually use them and then discard them. So it's like even more fuck them. Like we don't even need to get return for these picks.
You traded that first round pick for a pastrami sandwich? It was good as hell, though.
Hey, Bill need to belly check.
That's right. Gotta get a belly
I like
check.
that. That was smooth.
All right. Well,
All right, let's do the Bills.
Bill.
let's herd our way down
Bills.
or up to Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills, and I think y'all know where this is going. We're talking about the new offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. Ooh.
Ken?
Oh. I've
Dorsey?
been endorsing this guy for a minute here. Let's see.
More like Ken
2001.
Dorsey.
Let's start in 2001. National champion as a quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes. 38-2 as a starter. He set school records in career total offense, 9,486 yards. Passing yards, 9,565 yards. Passing touchdowns, 86. Passing completions,
Whoa.
668. Passing attempts, 1,153. Victories as a starting quarterback, 38. Winning percentage as a starting quarterback, .974. 200-yard passing game performances, 31. Consecutive passes without an interception, 193. consecutive games with a passing touchdown, 31, and the school record of TD passes in a game with 5. Yeah, pretty impressive, man.
Dude.
Well, why am I telling you this? Because he was a damn good quarterback. Bounced around the NFL after falling to the 7th round. Because he had concerns of his arm strength. So he had everything going for him. Just poor arm strength didn't work out for him. So what's the next best thing? You go to coaching. So let's start with the Carolina Panthers in 2011. Newton goes 17 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Team goes 6-10. 2012, 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in his second year. Team goes 7-9. 2013, Carolina Panthers hire quarterback coach Ken Dorsey.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he didn't start as an offensive assistant. You know who did? Sean McVay. He came straight into the league as a quarterback
Tight
coach.
ass pants.
So first year with Dorsey, he throws 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. The team goes 12-4. Sounds like had pretty good decision-making skills with Ken Dorsey on this team. 2014, minor setback. Cam suffers a fractured rib in a preseason game.
Oh.
Then in December, a vertebrae fracture from a car accident. 11 touchdowns, 12 interception. Team goes 7-8. Loss of Steve Smith didn't help. Calvin Benjamin commanded 145 targets. I thought that was interesting, so I just said it. The second wide receiver on that team was Jericho Cottery. You guys remember him?
Cotchery? Jericho Cotchery?
Yeah. Oh, all right. Christian does.
All right.
Well, you win, sir. All right.
Mad props.
So in 2015, with the addition of Ted Ginn Jr., still got Greg Olsen, a healthy offseason, Ken Dorsey at the helm with Cam Newton. They were basically side by side in spirit. Cam goes 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The team goes undefeated until losing in the Super Bowl.
Yikes.
Whoa.
2016 comes around. We see regression again, where Cam suffers a concussion.
Wait, hang on. You're talking about the Panthers?
Oh, yeah.
They were 15-1.
Oh. Well, they were undefeated in my heart.
I was just
15-1
making
when
sure.
they lost. I thought they were 15-1 because they lost the Super Bowl.
No, they went 15-1 in the
son of a
regular
bitch.
season. Yeah,
Where the Panthers go 15-1, also
the only
losing the
reason
Super Bowl.
I didn't want to interrupt to like correct you. I just got confused because the Patriots were the ones that did that. So then I was like, wait, is he talking about the Patriots right now? And I thought he was talking about
No.
I just got really confused. I was clarifying.
I fucked it up. Don't worry. I'm in my mode here. I'm talking about my dog.
Don't forget it's rough draft research. This is what we do.
Yeah, we only do minor research.
On the fly edits.
Hell yeah. 2016, Cam suffers a cranial concussion grade 1, week 4, then a shoulder rotator cuff tear. In December, he remains playing, has major regression for him and his team after the Super Bowl run. 2017, he has surgery in March before the season on the rotator cuff. The team drafts Christian McCaffrey, who commands 113 targets. So he's starting to learn how to throw to a running back right here. Okay, Ken. Okay, Ken. What up, little chef? What up, James Cook? What's good? What's good?
Little chef.
The year before, in 2018, Coach McDermott and Bills management make a questionable call in drafting Josh Allen. The accuracy issues, completion percentage of 52.8 in 12 games, throws 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Damn, what do you do in that situation? I think you hire a brand new quarterback coach in Ken Dorsey. So in 2019, that first year, completion percentage jumps up to 58.8. The touchdowns double from 10 to 20. You got John Brown, Cole Beasley. And I heard that Ken Dorsey was the one who wanted to bring Stephon Diggs in. I'm mostly making that up. 100% making that up. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's true.
Is that the year they went undefeated?
He gets promoted to passing game quarterback or coordinator and quarterback coach. Josh Allen jumps to 69.2%. Completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. So now 2021, you're new offensive coordinator. And if you were paying attention last year to this show, you would have known Brian Dable doesn't get that job, Ken Dorsey would have.
Ooh.
Just kidding. But he would have been an offensive coordinator somewhere else.
A different Brian, right?
So, last thing I'm going to say, great college quarterback. Doesn't quite have the athletics. Damn, who does that sound like?
Bailey Zappi.
Bailey
dude.
Zappi. See you in 2028 on Ken Dorsey's coaching
Sounds
staff.
like Kellen Moore.
Let's go. No, I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to cut that out. We'll return. We'll revisit this footage in 2028 when Bailey Zappi makes it onto a coaching staff. So that's my boy Ken Dorsey. Looking forward to the season. Buffalo Bills, you have my heart. Just keep it in the AFC.
Wow. And that's a wrap.
All right. Thanks. Hey, everyone, stick around for next week when I talk about Ken Dorsey again.
Kenneth Dorsey.
All right, let's talk about that offensive line.
Well, obviously we know all know how the Bills did last season. That was actually despite having like not really that good an offensive line. Only one player graded above a 70 for them last year. They brought in Roger Saffold, who's a good player, but he is 34 years old, and he's not very good at pass blocking, ironically. He's much more of a run blocker, in the 80s for run blocking grade and in the 40s for pass blocking grade last season. So, yeah, and then you got Spencer Brown coming off a decent year last year, but he needs to build on what he accomplished. If he doesn't, this line could actually be kind of bad, honestly. Now, you do have Josh Allen. That helps you make up for a lot of the glaring issues on the offensive line. So for teams with offensive line issues, the Bills are probably lower on my list of teams with bad lines that I'm actually worried about because of Josh Allen. But I don't know. I think it's an issue they need to start addressing sooner rather than later, instead of, I don't know, taking a running back in the second round when you don't really need one. I think line would have been a better pick there. But hey, James Cook should be exciting, and I'm excited to watch that. I just think we're getting really excited about everything, and like let's keep Josh Allen healthy, because it's really exciting until Josh Allen tears his ACL because somebody tackles him because he doesn't have protection. So let's just keep these quarterbacks protected. I guess is all I'm saying. Now, could work out.
If he tears his ACL, Ken Dorsey can step in.
There you go.
There you go. Maybe they'll
But
just
he doesn't have the arm strength, AJ. That was
That's
the whole
true.
point.
Only the brains. No.
Yeah, you always got Case Keenum, man. That's never messed anyone over.
Shut
I'm sorry.
That was
I don't
it.
know why I'm pulling punches. Okay.
Didn't
Well-
feel like you pulled that one.
Okay. All right. I pushed it. I pushed some punches. Jeez. It reminded me of the video of Case Keenum trying to get autographs from his teammates. That was a fun
Yeah,
tweet.
that was
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, shit. I'll find it. I'll send it to you. So you got Josh Allen. AJ has pretty much summarized his entire career, which is awesome because we know him as the guy that went back-to-back quarterback 1 years and is on fire, right? He's the spice is right, you know? So he's spinning the big wheel and he's hitting $1 every time. He's got that rushing upside. You know, even as a rookie, he's putting down 8 touchdowns on the ground. A little bit of regression, you know. Now he's only doing 6, you know. He's making it up through the air, throwing 36. But, you know, career high interceptions, 15. And he was pretty much the highest quarterback for red zone interceptions thrown. So you got to keep an eye out for a guy like that. You know, he's a wild card. He's a wild card. Now, there's no problems with Josh Allen. We know what's up.
Yeah, not a lot to say there.
Yeah. 30 red zone carries. That's more than Najee Harris and Javonte Williams had last year. So no big deal. Which brings us to the running back room. And aside from the new chef, there's also the new cook.
I know you like that.
That was beautiful. Little
That was
chef.
sick.
You also got Zach Moss apparently and Devin Singletary. So Zach Moss last year he missed the first game, and then he comes in and scores like 58 fantasy points from week 2 through 5. And so on that pace, he would have been the RB6 if he had just done that for 17 games. That's kind of wild to think about. You know, you think Zach Moss, you're like, he's a failure. Actually, he was a pretty good player. But then those were in some pretty solid victories. There were some closer games where he wasn't given as much opportunity. And then he got a concussion. And then Singletary just took that opportunity to be the number one guy and ran with it. He was getting carry counts, 15, upwards of 23 per game. And he truly became a monster, you know. He ended the season as 14th in red zone carries with 38, which is kind of crazy. You think Josh Allen, you think, oh, shit, you know, no one's doing anything. But he actually outtouched him in the red zone. So did his normal thing where down the stretch he became a sizable running back as far as production goes. So ended up the season as the RB. This can't be right. I had to do discount double check on the fly. What do you guys think? Where did Devin Singletary end up last year?
23.
23. That seems pretty awesome. He was the PPR RB 20 last year. So pretty solid, but I don't know, man. I don't know what to think with this little Jay Cook situation coming into town. Somebody else can tell me what I should think about it.
I think he has a chance to be disappointing this year. Just because of the hype train, it is real, but he was inconsistent in college at the best of times. He had 2 games where he had over 150 yards scrimmage wise, but then he also had games where he had 18 scrimmage yards, 26 scrimmage yards, 35 scrimmage yards, 37 scrimmage yards. He's just going to be up and down. In college, he was already like that, and that's when he's competing against Zamir White, who we all like. But now you're going to tell me that he's going to go to Buffalo and compete against Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, just like Dan saying, Josh Allen in the red zone, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, and he's going to be more consistent than he was in college. I just don't buy that. I think he's going to be really explosive. I just think owners of James Cook might get frustrated because they may not find – you may not be able to find the consistent way to play him ever. Because I feel like he's gonna be one of those guys that pops off for like 30 points and then has 2, and then 10, and then 4, and then 11, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Healthy Zach Moss. Got it. Well, I think what you're trying to say is that this offense is firing on all cylinders. How are they're not going out of their way to incorporate this guy?
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not stopping the bus for him to get on. He's gonna have to catch it and like jump in through the window or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So if they hit a stop sign, he might just sneak in the back door. You know, I don't know how buses work anymore. They used to have audible alarms. Who knows?
Tons of upside though. For the record, I don't want this to sound like I'm shitting on James Cook. Like if he balls out and becomes that guy, it's not gonna be surprising. If I had to choose which way it was going to be, I'd probably lean the more disappointing route.
Yeah, I haven't gone out of my way to acquire him, and I love going out of my way to acquire people. so that's just a known fact for anyone who knows me. But anyway, as far as opportunities on this team, we've already talked a little bit about the running game, but Cole Beasley, no longer with the team.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of getting a little salty on Twitter. But 106 targets out there available. And we already know the names. You know what I mean? We're talking about Gabriel Davis. We got Stephon Diggs coming off 158. That ain't going nowhere, right?
No.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So ultimately, Jamison Crowder's in the house. Khalil Shakir's around. Isaiah
Looking good.
McKenzie.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So it's It's a rotating. I mean, I don't know. You guys know how they roster about six wide
Six-ish,
receivers.
typically.
I think is locked in. They bring in OJ Howard in the tight end room. You got Dawson Knox, whose best game or best season of his career coming out being the tight end 8. So scoring 9 touchdowns. Stephon had 10 touchdowns. Gabe Davis 6 touchdowns on 35 catches. You already know all this stuff.
Yeah, 4 in
We
one
already
game.
told you all this stuff. Yeah, and the way he ended the season, he's getting those red zone catches. I'm a little worried about Dawson Knox just because of the way we saw Gabriel Davis in the playoffs blow up
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
That's a
So,
huge worry, but I do think Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Dawson Knox are pretty locked and loaded as far as production goes. Gabe Davis, for what it's worth, after week 14 last season, was averaging over 19 points per game in PPR, which is really, really good. So really, I think it's the slot that's the only kind of up in the air. And with, like AJ said, it looking good, Khalil Shakir, 151 yards over the first 2 preseason games. It's
oh,
already got Buffalo media talking about trading Jamison Crowder.
oh yeah.
And so
Those are
like
Isaiah
that,
Likely numbers.
yeah, exactly. So
Damn, two,
I'm
two
I'm
guys
pretty
our
intrigued.
research has been talking about. So weird.
Oh,
Oh,
whoa,
weird.
crazy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris.
I think we could see Shakir a little earlier than we were kind of expecting.
Hey, hips don't
I
lie.
hope so, man. At least it's not blue turf this time. Whew.
Yeah.
Whew.
Jesus.
A blue uniform though, you can't do much better. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think we know what it is here. It's locked in. I do think Isaiah McKenzie starts the season as a hot thing, and then
Yeah, that's
Shakir's
fair.
going to come in and take his thunder. So you got to keep an eye out. Got to be ready. Buy low, buy often. I guarantee you that Gabriel Davis is going to be closer to 85 to 100 targets this year. He's going to be a
Hmm.
top 24 wide receiver. I forgot to mention a little bit of Emmanuel Sanders no longer being around. There was
Hmm.
something like 78 targets there that's available. So it's pretty much locked in. Stephon Diggs for president. Get out and vote. And
MLD. Must love Diggs.
must love Diggs, man. Fucking
Elite hot sauce. Stephon Diggs.
elite.
It's him on the Mount Rushmore.
I can never get this to not be blurry so people can see it. Also, I'm still sending you guys yours at some point.
I'm gonna eat it. So
I had
Hot
3.
sauce.
I had one of them. It was good.
okay.
Hell yeah.
Well, shit. As long as it was good. I was hoping you'd be like, I had one. It was bad. Just keep it as a novelty. But you're like, now you're like, put it on your French fries. I'm like,
You
all right,
keep the
dude.
Just keep the bottle as a
fill
novelty.
it back
Oh,
up.
fill it
or
with some Franks.
Yeah.
Heat shrink some black cellophane on
something. Hell
there.
yeah, dude.
I'm in. Got a taste of Diggs. All right.
All right. Defense.
Yeah, we can do defense. This defense, uh, I think it could be a lot better than last year.
What?
But also it has holes. It's weird. They added some good people. I think they made their pass rush a little better. Von Miller played incredibly during the Super Bowl run. He comes in, he's still going to have some juice. Ed Oliver finally looks like the guy that they took, as long as he can keep that going. Gregory Rousseau as a number 1 pass rusher is a little worried, but behind Von Miller, I think that's actually a really strong number 2. My issue is the secondary, I think, is being overlooked as a weakness. Tre'Davious White is coming off an ACL tear, and like he didn't look like Tre'Davious White necessarily before he got hurt, so he needs to come back. But that means you're slotting in Khair Elam as a day 1 starter as well, which I think corner is one of the harder positions to come in and be successful as a rookie. I think the speed of the game is vastly different than college at that position. And so that's going to be kind of hard. Now, it does help that they have the best safety duo in the league in Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. So I think they're going to be good. I just see these little tiny holes that if something were to go wrong and they were to have the wrong injury at the wrong time on the offensive line or in the secondary, I think those little holes could be a bigger issue than people are realizing.
Ugh. Yeah, depth's kind of been a thing for them, so I agree with you.
But they have the talent to overcome any of these issues also. So, like, I'm not super worried about it, but, we're breaking shit down here. That's what we do at Rough Draft Research.
That's right.
Hell
dude.
yeah.
Turn the corner. Hell yeah. Fucking the Bills, dude. Is it gonna, what's gonna happen? They're gonna lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs?
Probably loses somebody in the playoffs. There's too much hype around them now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not making that bet.
And there's so much talent in the AFC now, too.
Oh, yeah.
That AFC playoffs is going to be bananas.
Gunslingers, dude.
Yeah.
Gunslingers.
So, I don't know if I'm comfortable betting on anyone in the AFC.
Jackson, Mahomes,
Davis
Allen.
Mills.
What?
Word. I'm betting that over all
that?
day.
Matt Ryan. Oh, man. Yeah. You know that sports betting is becoming legal in the state of Kansas.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
dope.
So go to your
Goodbye,
favorite sports book.
VPN subscription.
Enter promo code RDR to get an amount of betting dollar bills.
Yeah, whatever you pay for is what you get.
Yep.
You use our code.
Don't forget.
Whatever you pay for, you're supposed to get double, but you got to talk to their customer service about it, not us. We don't control it. So just call them, tell them about us. I'm sure they'll know about it.
Yep. Love it. Just Google promo codes because there's a million of them. It's awesome. Yeah. So.
All right.
Well, hell yeah! I mean, that's the AFC East. A little spicy, a little dicey.
Yeah. Where are we going next week?
We're going home, baby. We're going home.
Going to the north, baby.
We're going up north. NFC
Up north.
North. We got a couple of homers here, and I better see some face paint. I better see some fromage on the head. I want to see it all.
I love it.
I want to get nasty with it.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird.
Couple of 33 jerseys in the house. Something.
Hey, not anymore. We got number 4 in the house. We got Big Chef. We got Daddy Chef.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't retire that number 4 jersey with how often you guys talk about that Brett Favre season.
Oh, it's starting already, huh?
I don't need to be here next week. I'll wait for these two to beat each other up, and then I'll come in and talk about the Bears and the Lions.
I know. Well, after this year, we'll probably retire 55. So that for sure. What up, Darius? Ooh.
I think you could probably just add that one into the long list of awesome Packers that went to the Vikings and did nothing.
Ooh.
Oh.
Snots fired.
If Favre doesn't throw that interception, we win that 2009 Super Bowl. God damn it.
Yeah, but he did.
Yeah,
he did throw it.
Well, he threw lots of interceptions for the Packers.
Yeah, he did.
All right, guys, we're out.
All right.
Tune in next week. Watch us go at each other's throats.
Guess who we're going to pick as the top positional players from the AFC East?
Peace.